हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम टू माय चैनल। आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे 100 MCQs ऑन हु रोट व्हाट। चलें शुरू करते हैं आज का हमारा टॉपिक। अंडर वेस्टर्न आइज रिटन बाय जोसेफ कॉनरेड। चांस बाय जोसेफ कॉनरेड। विक्ट्री बाय जोसेफ कॉनरेड। Paradise Lost by John Milton. After Apple Picking by Robert Frost. Intellectual Beauty by P.B. Shelley. The Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan. In Memoriam by Tennyson. Meeting at Night by Browning. The Rescue novel is by Joseph Conrad. Hamlet by Shakespeare. The Second Coming by W.B. Yeats. Paradise by Toni Morrison. Judd the Obscure by Thomas Hardy. Goodbye Mr. Chips by James Hilton. Kubla Khan by S.T. Coleridge. Macbeth by Shakespeare. Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe. David Copperfield by Charles Dickens. Death of a Salesman by Arthur Miller. Rover novel by Joseph Conrad. Joseph Andrew by Henry Fielding. Tempest by Shakespeare. The Castle by Franz Kafka. Merchant of Venice by Shakespeare. Pickwick Paper by Charles Dickens. Return of Native by Thomas Hardy. The Trial by Franz Kafka. Tom Jones by Henry Fielding. Twelfth Night by Shakespeare. Murder in Cathedral by T.S. Eliot. Canterbury Tales by Chaucer. Waiting for Godot, Samuel Beckett. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. A Farewell to the Arms by Hemingway. A Passage to India by Forster. The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. Martin Chuzzlewit by Charles Dickens. Persuasion by Jane Austen. Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. Hyperion by Frederick Hölderlin. A Valediction is a poem by John Donne. As Vicious Men Pass, poem by John Donne. For Whom the Bell Tolls, poem by John Donne. Air and Angels, poem by John Donne. Don Juan by Lord Byron. Middlemarch by George Eliot. Animal Farm by George Orwell. Orlando by Virginia Woolf. If is a poem by Rudyard Kipling. When You Are Old, poem by W.B. Yeats. Because I Couldn't Stop for Death, poem by Emily Dickinson. I Am Nobody, Who Are You, poem by Emily Dickinson. The Road Not Taken is a poem by Robert Frost. Annabel Lee is a poem by Edgar Allan Poe. When We Two Parted is a poem by Lord Byron. Death Be Not Proud is a poem by John Donne. How Do I Love Thee is a poem by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. His Excuse for Loving is a poem by Ben Jonson. She Walks in Beauty is by Lord Byron. The City and the Sea is a poem by Edgar Allan Poe. Cradle Song is a poem by William Blake. Sonnet 29, poem by Shakespeare. Hourglass by Ben Jonson. The Castle is a book by Franz Kafka. A Passage to India is by E.M. Forster. Tears, Idle Tears by Tennyson. O Captain, My Captain is a poem by Walt Whitman. I Dreaded That First Robin is a poem by Emily Dickinson. Crossing the Bar is a poem by Tennyson. I Hear American Singing, poem by Walt Whitman. The Flea is a poem by John Donne. The Waves book by Virginia Woolf. The Tables Turned, poem by Wordsworth. Hellas is a poem by Oscar Wilde. Ode on Solitude is a poem by Alexander Pope. To Celia is a poem by Ben Jonson. The Darkling Thrush is a poem by Thomas More. The Lady of Shalott is a poem by Tennyson. My Last Touches by Robert Browning. Recessional is a poem by Rudyard Kipling. Hep is a poem by Thomas Hardy. The Lake Isle of Innisfree, poem by Yeats. Charge of the Light Brigade is a poem by Tennyson. Ode on a Grecian Urn, poem by John Keats. The Prologue, poem by Annie Bradstreet. The Passionate Shepherd to His Love, poem by Christopher Marlowe. To the Memory of Mr. Oldham, poem by John Dryden. Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. Hard Times by Charles Dickens. Our Mutual Friend by Charles Dickens. Shirley by Charlotte Bronte. Vanity Fair by William Thackeray. The Pit and the Pendulum by Edgar Allan Poe. Ivanhoe by Walter Scott. Emma by Jane Austen. Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. To You, poem by Walt Whitman.